Now, before I even get into this beauty of this little setting, do you remember this? The engine that let me down, and I had to strip it down and pull it apart and then start rebuilding it. Well, in the end, that started to come together quite well. Although its last say, when I tried to start the engine that had been rebuilt, it wouldn't go, and discovered the the lead on the solenoid had rotted and come off. But anyway, smoking, it still smoked. Well, I was just at that kind of situation, that point. I said, sod it, let's just go bloody sailing. So this is what happened. Now, if you remember, I'm sort of in harbour, pulled in by the guys who come and collect me in the marina. It's a tight spot, not much room in the front, and certainly got this big cruiser at the back, which is about 4.5 meters wide. So I was thinking about doing, one of those situations where you tie up the front, you motor forward, drop the back end out, and then just reverse back. But I've got quite a strong starboard, what do they call it, drift or something on the prop wash. So I'm trying to figure out what's going on here. And I spent a lot of time, once I set the ropes up, which rope to release. So but eventually I made a decision. And it was completely the opposite of what I wanted to do, because in the end, what I worked out was just let the wind take the boat. And this is how I approached it. I released the stern line. I prepped all these lines and got minimal lines off. So spring lines are gone. There's literally the bow and the stern line. So I took the stern line off. That started to drift out with the wind. It was coming sort of like 45 degrees onto the bow from the starboard. And then I let the bow line off. Came back to the boat and just watched it drift and set the engine accordingly. So a little bit of reverse here just to take myself away, but not too much. Very conscious of the boat behind me. And of course, the boat's bow just started to drift around. And this was sort of the really nice thing about this, is a very casual, very calm, very easygoing kind of manoeuvre. And that is exactly how it went. So a little bit of forward just to nudge it back, away from the power boat behind me. And I just used that space. And there was actually a fair degree of space in there. You probably got 30 meters of that, that pontoon in front. And as you've seen now coming up, there's a sailboat on the far side, but there's a lot of space. It looks a lot more because I'm on a wide angle. In that process there, I'm starting to stick it into forward gear and just slightly start to drift around. And that was exactly it. It worked out really, really well. And time to move on. So it's 10 to 9 in the morning. There was an expected lull over Lyme Bay, so we've probably got about 3 hours theoretically of lower winds, sort of 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 knots. And come about midday to 1 o'clock, the wind is supposed to pick up and change as well, come to a southwesterly, southerly, southwesterly, and that will take me back into Brixham. Expected winds may be upper teens, so that'll be good. So it should make it quite comfortably in daylight. So yeah, that's it. Yeah, and getting used to it as well. Setting the boat up, starting to move around the boat, trusting the steering or the helm a lot more on the locking system. So it's all encouraging, and yeah, I'm really enjoying it. Even after the last 2 weeks of all those engine issues, and are still not sorted. Running on the engine coming out of the harbour, the engine died again. So I thought, sod it, I'm going sailing. I'll sort the engine out another time. You know, I can practice setting the anchors with the sails and so on and so on and so on. You know, I tried the engine again, coming alongside Portland, and it started again, ran for 5 minutes and died. And then over the race at Portland Bill, started again, ran and then died. So there's clearly a fuel issue, which I'll sort out in due course. But you know something? It doesn't matter. This sailing is great. I think I'm doing 5 knots. We got 15 knots of wind, sort of getting close haul, starboard side, and it's fun, so much fun. We're kind of heading in the right direction. It's kind of, yeah, over there somewhere. Yeah, it's sort of, what's it? Oh, I can't. Brixham? No. Oh, I never remember the name of this place. It's near Taunton anyway. So we're heading in the general direction. Oh, we've dropped off a little bit. I better adjust the steering. See you in a bit. It's nice to be out of the wind for a change. So I'm motor sailing at the moment, about 2/5 of the way across Lyme Bay. It is presently coming up to 1:30. The kind of southerly winds have not arrived as promised at this time. That would have been really good because I'm trying to maintain a 270 bearing, but I'm struggling. So I'm motor sailing. I've got the foresail up, mainsail down, and I'm trying to. It's interesting. I mean, for somebody like me who's still quite new to sailing, I'm looking at the telltales on the foresail, on the front and behind of the sail, and seeing them match, and then seeing it change. So the closer I go to the 270 bearing, I lose the inside tail. It goes up, but the backside goes straight. But if I actually change to 290 bearing, I gain about a knot in speed, just because, of course, there's more pull on the sail. But I'm presently doing 5 knots, 1500 revs on the engine, so that's ticking over nicely. No problems. Oh, there's a couple of lobster pots. Just need to do a check. Hang on. Yeah, that's kind of a sphincter moment. You don't want one of those wrapped around my bleeding prop. Yeah, I can't remember what I was saying. I'll probably look it up and I'll do it. I'll do a voiceover on it or something. But I'm trying to get to that place I keep forgetting. Brixham. Oh, I don't know. It's on the tip of my tongue. Anyway, so I need a 270 bearing, but I can't really do that to sort of get the sail to pull me along. It's just not. Otherwise, if I'm doing pure sailing, it's just the tacking is going to take all day and half the night. So I'm trying to sort of eat up a few miles, maybe get 2/3 of the way across. Hopefully by then the wind has changed, the direction's changed. It's reasonably healthy, 10 to 12 knots, but it's just in the wrong direction. Even though I've got the noise of the motor ticking along in the background, there is a extraordinary level of peace and tranquility out here in the bay. It's I don't know, it's just an incredible feeling just to be here and just enjoy this open space. The weather and the conditions are being kind to us. To me, there's that us and we again. The weather conditions have been kind, so we're making decent progress. We're probably halfway across now, doing about 5.5 knots speed. The foresail is making a big difference in that. I think that's probably adding maybe 1 or 2 knots, even though we're sailing very, very close to the wind, close haul. Doing about 1,500 knots, 1,500 revs on the engine as well. So I'm ticking along quite nicely, no overstressing there. So that's where we are. That's where we come from, where I am, and Brixham, where I'm supposed to be going. But anywhere along here, to be honest, would be good. So the 270 heading pretty much takes me to there. So 14:02, we set out at 5 o'clock in the morning, 5:30. So yeah, a few hours, and not even halfway yet. So that's 17 miles. We're presently doing 5.5 knots, 5 knots. So there, so 3 hours. So that's pretty good. So I think what I might do, not before long, if the wind shifts a little bit and there's a little more favourability with the direction, I might do a little bit of sail, get rid of the engine, just the last bit. So not a bad spot here. This is Hope Cove in the Taunton area. Never been here before, by land or by sea. So what we have is 5.4 meters of water. Not high tide yet. High tide comes at about 11 o'clock, so we've got another couple of hours yet. So I put out 25 meters of chain, and it's bit quite nicely. I think it's a sandy bottom, so I'll sort of monitor it for the next couple of hours. It's quite sheltered here. The wind is going to be coming over this lot behind me tomorrow, so it should be very, very well protected. Sea swell very similar, I think, as well. So it's a recognised anchorage. No reviews on Navily. I mounted Anstey next door, but there was a couple of boats in there, and wasn't entirely comfortable in sort of setting up because I didn't really know it. But this is good. So yeah, let's settle down for the evening, get some dinner on. Yeah, the engine's performed well today, so what I need to be looking at doing is sorting the tappets out, getting some flush into the diesel, get that cleaned out, so I'll do some bacterial flush and just a general gunk flush as well. Tappet sorting, and at some stage get the injectors serviced, but it's not imperative. To be honest, I think there's a winter project coming up. Engine. I still don't think it's cooling properly, so but it's cooling sufficiently as long as I don't work the engine too hard. But I think there's a winter project where I can sort of strip down the engine and start cleaning out some of those little water funnels that may still be a bit blocked or just needs a good flushing out, I think. Yeah, by and large, chuffed with the engine. It's worked well today. Really good, pleased. Confident with it as well, that's the key thing. Developed a lot of confidence with the engine today that it's not going to let me down again, so as long as I keep on top of it and start looking after it. Right, time to move on. It is 8:46 on Sunday morning, and hopefully a coffee shop will be open soon. So I've got these steps to explore. Hopefully they are a way out. Otherwise I'll be a return trip here very, very quickly and go and say...